कस्तूरीतिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वर्मौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणम् सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितम् कण्ठे च मुक्तावली गोपास्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपाल चूडामणि वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran and we are in Canto 10. And within Canto 10, we are covering Ras Panchadhyay. We have completed 31 chapters in Canto 10. Today we shall take up chapter number 32, that is the second last chapter in Ras Panchadhyay, which is considered the Pran of Bhagavad Mahapuran. Now, these are the words of Sri Maharaj Ji that Bhagavad Mahapuran is the highest Vedic scripture in the literature, and in Bhagavad Mahapuran, 10th canto is special, dealing with the Leelas of Sri Krishna, and within 10 chapters, Ras Panchadhyay is the Pran. Now, Pran is the life air. In our body, soul, mind, intellect mechanism, there is this life air called Pran, which flows and keeps us alive. If the Pran is out, the body becomes insentient. The body becomes jad. So Pran is the lifeline, the life air. And Ras Panchadhyay, the 5 chapters which we are studying, chapter 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33, are compared to the Pran. So we should be very clear that what we are studying is the most transcendental, the most profound, the most esoteric also, because it is said Brahmaji cannot understand it, Saraswati cannot understand it, Biraspati cannot understand it. So if the guru of all the devatas, if the goddess of learning cannot comprehend it, where is the question of our gaining mastery over this topic? So whatever little we learn, depending on the condition of our devotion, the limit of our devotion, we should be very fortunate, and we shouldn't think that, oh, I'm not able to comprehend this, or we shouldn't have any thoughts which are detrimental to our progress. So a few facts about Bhagavad Mahapuran and Ras Panchadhyay, that Bhagavad Mahapuran is not about the Lokik karma, dharma. Dharma projit kaitava. That means all these material pursuits, dharma, arth, kam, moksha, and even moksha. Moksha is liberation. When we say we have obtained moksha, that means we are liberated from this mundane existence. But then, if the moksha takes us away from these material afflictions and makes us merge with the divine, are we going to relish that kind of a merger? Because our individuality is not there to relish the Leelas. It is in a state of peace and bliss, but then the rus which we get by interacting in the devotional sentiment, that will be missing. So that is why Sri Maharaj neither tells us to follow the bhog, which is the material pleasure, and the moksha, which is the liberation from the difficulties and the disease and the old age, etc. So what he says, aim for the highest, which is bhakti. And bhakti also, we know there are different grades: दास्य भाव, सख्य भाव, vatsalya bhav, madhurya bhav, and before dasya bhav there is another bhav called shant bhav. So dasya bhav means you are serving like the follower, like a servitor, servant to the Lord. So the Jeev, our soul, is the servitor of the Supreme Almighty. That is the dasya bhav. That example is given of Sri Hanumanji, how he relates to Sri Ram. He is serving Sri Ram in the dasya bhav. Then comes the sakhya bhav. You are friendly to the Supreme Almighty. So Arjun is friendly to Sri Krishna. So that is sakhya bhav. And then higher than that comes the Vatsalya Bhav, in which you consider Sri Krishna as the parents or you consider Sri Krishna as the child. So the sentiment of parental love and both the sentiments for the parents and sentiments for the child is Vatsalya Bhav. And that is the example of Nandaji, Jashodaji, or Sri Krishna as the Bal Gopal, as the small child of Nandaji, Yashodaji, Devkiji, Vasudevji. And higher than that is Madhurya Bhav, in which there is no barrier. Madhurya Bhav is the relationship between the lover and the beloved. There is no barrier at all. That is the highest, and that is what Sri Maharaji teaches. Now, that is when it becomes very difficult to comprehend, and we need regular sadhana and the association of the saints and the blessings of the Guru and Hari to really appreciate what is Madhurya Bhav. So one classification we learned: Shant Bhav, Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Madhurya Bhav. And there is another classification of the devotees: Samartha Rati, Sadharani Rati, Samanjasa Rati, which we learned the other day. If our love is for our own selfish happiness and bliss, that is called the Sadharani Rati. The object of love is the Supreme. There is no contamination on that. If the Jeev knows that he has to serve the Lord, so the object of love is very clear, that is God. But we are in love with God, we are attached to God, but we want our happiness from God. We have that selfish motive. That is called Sadharani Rati. It's a very high class of devotion because we are not attached to any other object in the world. We are associated and attached only to the divine. But because we want the selfish happiness, that is why it is called Sadharani Rati, the lower class. And then there is the higher than that is Samanjasa Rati, in which the devotee says, "Oh Lord, I want your happiness also, but I want my happiness also." So that is called Samanjasa Rati. But when it comes to the Samartha Rati, there the devotee says, "Lord, I have nothing to do with my happiness. All my actions, all my thoughts, all my words are only for your happiness." And that is called Samartha Rati. So that Samartha Rati bhav is the most coveted, and the gopis represent that bhav. The example of Samartha Rati is gopis. The example of Samanjasa Rati is Lakshmi ji, Satyabhama ji, all those patranis of the Lord. And the example of Sadharani Rati is Kubja, the hunchbacked woman who was in love with Sri Krishna. Then there are other classifications, Raganuga Bhakti and Ragatmika Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is without the Vadi Bhakti, the rules and regulations. In some institutions of spirituality, you will see there are many rules. You have to wear a particular kind of dress. You have to keep a tuft on your head, the choti. You have to wear a tilak of a particular style. You have to wear that tilak on different limbs of the body. You have to do Sandhya Vandana. You have to do Gayatri Mantra Jap. These are the compulsory elements of the Vadi Bhakti. That is called the Vadi Bhakti, the Bhakti in which the rules and regulations are important. But there is another Bhakti called Raganuga Bhakti in which the rules are not important. Bhakti alone is important. Your love alone is important. An example is given about the love of the child for the mother. The child has gone out and played and he is smeared with dust and grime. But when he comes home, he just goes, he cannot resist and he embraces his mother and the mother also embraces him, little worrying about the clothes and the dirt, etc. So there is no rules and regulation. If the rules were important, the child should have gone and bathed and become fresh and clean and then come and embrace the mother. But he embraced spontaneously. So that is called Raganuga Bhakti. And in the Raganuga Bhakti also there are different types. Sambandhanuga Bhakti and another type. Let me recall. And in the Sambandhanuga Bhakti also there is a different type. So I will come to that perhaps in the next class, but we understood quite a few concepts. We will go deeper into the Ras Panchadhyay, but let us begin with a bhajan first, and then we will learn about the 32nd chapter, which is about Shri Krishna's appearance. Shri Krishna comes back after he has listened to the Gopi Geet. The Gopi Geet, which was so profound, just to recall a few lines. Jayati te dikam janmana vrajah shayat indira saswadatrahi दयितदृश्यता दीक्षुतावका अस्त्वयि धृतासवश त्वां विचिन्वते न खलु गोपिका नन्दनो भवान् अखिल देहिना अंतरात्मदिक् विखन सातितो विश्वगुप्तये सखौ देवान् शाश्वतां कुले सात्वतां कुले तव कथामृतम् तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् श्रीमदाततम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भ्रूरिदा जना राधे Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Radhe. So we covered in this set number 1 Gopi Geet, number 4, number 9, and if we have gone through the translation, we will know how deep, how loving, how emotional, how profound these expressions of the gopis are. And in the 19th verse, when the gopis say, "O Shri Krishna, there was a time when we would interact with you and we would place your feet on our bosom, and your feet are so tender that we are worried that you will have the the dent from our touch." That kind of expression they say in the 19th verse. And then Sri Krishna, who had disappeared, who had gone out of sight, gopis were following them. They found one most beloved gopi has gone with Sri Krishna, but after a while, even that footprint is gone. And that gopi, whom we know that she is Sri Radha, but it is not mentioned in the Bhagavad Mahapuran. So she is in the semi conscious state and she is awakened, and they all return to the Yamuna river, and then they sing this Gopi Geet. So when Sri Krishna has heard the 19th verse, he appears. And when he appears, there is such a wave of joy among the gopis, and that is what we will learn in today's chapter. But let us begin with a bhajan. Over to Yatinji.
गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार. A Gopi's unique first encounter with Shyam Sundar, despite her determination to avoid him. That treacherous Shyam has cast a magic spell on me. I had gone to bathe in the Yamuna. Suddenly I saw him there. Averting his eyes, I secretly drank the nectar of his divine beauty from behind my veil. That very instant, my eyes became so intoxicated with bliss that they wanted to escape by tearing right through the veil. But I still did not allow my eyes to meet his. After filling my pitcher with water, I started for home. That devious Sham Sundar followed me and with a pebble made a small hole in the back of my pitcher. Startled by the sound, I looked around to see who the culprit was. As soon as I turned around, my eyes met his. Says Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. From the front, tears of joy started flowing from the gopi's eyes, and from the back, a stream of water was flowing from her pitcher. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. पै जादू डार गयो हरी, मुँह पे जादू डार गयो हरी, हो यमुना स्नान करन गई, हो यमुना स्नान करन गई, ताहरा नंद कुमार गयो हरि, हरा नंद कुमार गयो हरि, मो पै जादू डार गयो हरि, माधुरी पिय दृग पिय रस रूप माधुरी दृगन बचाई निहार गयो हरि दृगन बचाई निहार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू दार गयो हरि रस लंपट दृग पट घूंघट घट रस लंपट दृग पट घूंघट घट करन चहत जनु पार गयो हरि करन चहत जनु पार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि जमुना जब घाट भरी जब घाट भरी चली घर नटवर तब जब घाट भरी चली घर नटवर तब चट कांकरी दैमा भयो हरि चट कांकरी दैमार भयो हरि मोह पे भयो हरि भयो हरि राधे राधे यतीन जी you would like to sing the last two lines
जी भैया। फूटयो घाट टूटयो घूंघट पट फूटयो घट टूटयो घूंघट पट औचक दृग भयचार गयो हरि औचक दृग भयचार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि उत कृपालु नागरीत गागरी उत कृपालु नागरीत गागरी बहत प्रेम जलधार गयो हरि बहत प्रेम जलधार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
मोपे जादू डार गयो हरि गयो हरि। बोलिए श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की
की
जय।
जय।
श्रीमद युगल सरकार की
की
जय।
जय।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
Our koti koti pranam to Sri Hari and Sri Guru, to the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Sri Guru. Our koti koti pranam to Swami Mukundananji. My humble pranam to each one of you. Also, let us glorify Lord Sri Ram's Yavar Ramchandra ki Jai. Today is his Janma Divas, Sri Ramchandra Janma Utsav. So now we shall read from the 11th, the 10th canto, chapter number 32, which is Ras Panchadhyay. And we already described quite a few points which are very important to whatever that we are trying to comprehend to do that. So let me read a few slides. Canto 10, chapter 32, the conversation between the Ras dance. The conversation before the Ras dance. So here we see Sri Krishna surrounded by the gopis, and we should remember there are different categories of gopis. Some are his Nitya Ashtasakhis like Lalita, Vishakha, Tung Vidya, Sri Devi, etc. And some are the saints from Janakpur during Ram Avatar. So they were also blessed by Shri Ram that you will get this association from me in my Krishna Avatar. Also, the sages from the Dandakaranya forest, as we mentioned earlier, some are Agni Putra, the sons of Agni. They have come as gopis, and Vedas personified Richas have also come as gopis. So there are different categories. So let's read the first slide. Delirious in their separation, longing to behold Krishna, the gopis were beyond grief and began crying loudly. The Supreme Merciful Lord then suddenly appeared in his charming form, clad in pitambri, silk, and beautiful garland, bewildering even Cupid and maddening the beholder. The gopis sprang up on their feet as if life itself is restored and injected back into their inert bodies. One gopi clasped Krishna's hand in her palm with delight. Another placed Krishna's arm daubed with sandal paste around her shoulder in joy. Another gopi gratefully collected in her palm the beetle chewed by him, and yet another set his lotus feet on her bosom, calming her passion. One more gopi, biting her lip, gave him the most loving, angry look. One gopi kept on looking at Krishna, unblinking for a long time, still remaining unsated, just like saints remain unsated, contemplating on the lotus feet of Krishna. One gopi captured his sight in her eyes and then, closing her eyes, stored the image permanently in her heart, mentally embracing her Krishna, experiencing goosebumps, just like a yogi experiences horripilation, immersed in bliss. All the gopis feasting their eyes on the sight of Krishna that they were longing and yearning for, finally rid the agony of separation, just like persons get rid of their grief. So, very beautifully described the experiences that the gopis had upon sighting Sri Krishna, who couldn't stay away longer. he returned and he's looking so majestic, beautiful, resplendent. And some gopis are clasping his palms, some are chewing, taking the beetle which he has chewed, etc., etc., which we just read. So now let's move on to the next slide. Verse 10:32:10 explains that the Lord is shining like his various Shaktis made him shine even more brilliantly. ताभिर्विदूत शोकाभिर् भगवान् च्युतो वृतः व्यरोचताधिकं तात पुरुष शक्तिभिर्यथा ताभिर्विधूता ताभिर्विधूतशोकाभिर्भगवान् अच्युतो वृतः व्यरोचत अधिकं तात पुरुष शक्तिर्भिर्यथा. So this is the right meter. I tried the different meter. Surrounded by those women who had shaken off their sorrows, Sri Krishna, the immortal Lord, shone very brightly, O dear Parikshit, like the Supreme Spirit endowed with his potentials in the form of Sattva, etc. So you can see the effulgent figure of Sri Krishna playing on his flute, and he's looking so majestic, and the gopis are around him. Along with Krishna, all the gopis went to the banks of Kalindi, which was illumined by the moon, swarmed with black bees, and the soft sands laid as a carpet by the waves of the river. All their longing and desires, dissolving, the gopis spread out their scarves, dupatta, to seat Krishna honorably to serve him. Basking in their devotion, the Lord shone with her persona as the one singular, exclusive abode of loveliness, beauty, spreading it all over the three worlds, casting loving looks and smiles, praising Krishna while ensuring his comfort and service. The gopis then asked Krishna, as if in a mock anger, "Oh dear Lord, kindly clarify our doubt as to why at times," if you can read the last line, it is cut for me.
Why at times two-person reciprocate each other's love, or then somewhere there is only one-sided love, or then again there is no affection at all in a person.
Radhe Radhe. So we will move to the next slide, but before that, I just want to say about this very beautiful point which gopis have brought out. They are telling Sri Krishna that there are three types of people. One who you love, but that person doesn't love. I mean, the affection is shown, the love is shown, but that person does not show affection. And another case, when the person is shown love, that person also reciprocates and acknowledges the love. So rather, I should put that as the first category, person who loves and gets loved in the return. And the second one, the person who loves, but there is no reciprocation. And then there is a third category of people who do not have anything to do with whether the person is loving or not loving. They have no such involvement. So these three types, gopis are putting before Sri Krishna and asking, which one do you find the best and which one is you? So now we will read the next slide. So here you can see in the picture Sri Krishna is speaking to the gopis, and these are the questions which were put by the gopis. And now the glorious Lord replies, two people love each other for mutual benefit and only. There is no goodwill or virtue here, as love is for a selfish motive. One sided love is full of affection. For example, parental love uh, is selfless and compassionate and full of virtue and goodwill. Okay, so goodwill, and there are some who don't love anyone, like number one, saints and sages who have no desires, or others who have realized their life's goals and satisfied free from all cravings. They see no purpose maintaining relations. Three, there could be some ignorant who do not know how to appreciate a good deed, or just plain ungrateful people who consider everyone as their enemies, even if good is done to them. The Lord continues, and as for me, I do not come in any of these categories because I deliberately stay invisible, only for the welfare of souls and devotees, only so that they can yearn and increase their devotion speedily to me. For example, when a poor man who, having got wealth, suddenly again loses it and then desperately yearns to get back the same, the Lord reciprocates his devotees' love as much as per their surrender. Krishna is thus gracing the gopis to complete their surrender. So, briefly, if I recall, we had touched this in the last session also. So, what are the questions by the gopis? O Shri Krishna, please help resolve our question, our conundrum. Three types of the people we know. You love them because they love you. And even if they love you, you don't love them. And third category, whether you love them or you don't love them, they don't interact. They have no such involvement. Which category, Krishna, do you belong? So Sri Krishna is answering that you spoke about the first category. You love them and they love you. That is very worldly, very normal, very much the scene. And that is the selfish love. As much you love the person, that person loves you as much the same. Second category, you love the person, that person, you love the person, but that person does not reciprocate. That person, even if you do not love, that person reciprocates the love. That is rare in the world, but it is seen for the sages, and even the parents do the same. Whether the child reciprocates or not, the parents love. And then the third category, which you are talking about, that they do not interact at all, whether you love them or not. They, as per Sri Krishna, are of four types. One, who are such evolved sense that they don't have the appreciation of the duality, the Dvait. So it doesn't matter to them. They don't reciprocate. They are seeing God everywhere. Number two, this category of person does see the duality. The first category doesn't see the duality, that there are others and there is me. This second category does see the duality, but they are so evolved that they don't want to get into the relationship. And the third category, that they are ignorant. They don't even know whether somebody loves them or somebody does not love them. And the fourth category, even if the person loves you, but you react in a opposite way, react in a negative way, react in an inimical way, in an adversarial way, that Sri Krishna says these are the four categories. I don't belong to any of these categories. Now let me explain what happened in your dealings with me. You all came to attend, to meet me in the forest, and then I disappeared. That does not mean that I stopped showing my affection and love for you. My disappearance was actually to enhance your devotion. And he gives the example of the poor person who became wealthy and again he lost his wealth. Now he wants to gain back the wealth. He has got attached to wealth and he does not want to lose that bliss again. So he will endeavor everything to get it back. So similarly, Sri Krishna is saying that sometimes I'll behave in an adversarial way, in an inimical way, but that does not mean that I stopped loving you. It was only to enhance your love So, this is the meaning of this conversation. Let's move on to the next. Would you like to read, Yatinji?
जी भैया. In the concluding verses of the chapter, Shri Krishna explains his reason and appreciation to the gopis. एवं मदर्थो चलित जत जितलोक वेद स्वानाम ही वो मय्यनो व्रतये भला मया परोक्षं भजता तिरोहितं मासूयितुं माहर्थ तत्प्रियं प्रियः. Indeed, in order to ensure thus your constant devotion to me, O fair ones, I remained out of your sight for some time, though loving you invisibly and listening to your professions of love with great delight. You, who who have for my sake ignored all worldly conventions as well as the injunctions of the Vedas and deserted your own people. Therefore, O beloved ones, you ought not to find fault with me, you darling.
Correct. So he explained why he disappeared, that in order to ensure that your constant devotion continues, and I remained out of sight for some time, though I was loving you invisibly and listening to your Gopi Geet and all those expressions. So let us move on to the next.
Verse 10:32-22 tells Krishna's exceptional reward to the gopis of their devotion. न पार्येऽहं निर्वद्य संयुजास्व साधु कृत्यं विबुधायुषापि वः यामाब्जन् शृङ्खलाः संव्रज वृश्चय तदवं प्रतियातु साधुना. As a matter of fact, I cannot even through the long life of a heavenly being, which is 36,000 human years, repay my obligation, which is the duty of all virtuous men, to you, whose connection with me is absolutely free from blemish, and who have fixed your mind on me, completely cutting asunder the fetters that bound you to your home and which cannot be easily broken. Therefore, let your services to me be repaid by your own goodness. Radhe Radhe.
So, if I can understand, Shri Krishna is saying, I am eternally grateful to you all. You have forsaken the world for my sake. How can I forget you? But actually, I cannot even repay the favor that you did to me, the love that you showed to me. So, even for 36,000 years of the Devata, which is equal to 4 lakh 4.32 billion years, right, of the humans, I will not be able to repay your debt. That's what he says in one of the concluding shlokas. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so that was the concluding shloka for the glorious 32nd chapter. And now, quickly, we go through the Vandanas in the very first canto, which is also called Manglacharan. The words of Vyasdev ji, who has written this about Bhagavad Mahapuran. Janmadasya yato anvaya दितरत स्वचार्ते अभिष्वज्ञ स्वराट तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवे मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारी मृदाम यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यम परम धीमहि. सो जिससे इस जगत की सृष्टि स्थिति और प्रलय होते हैं, क्योंकि यह सभी सद्रूप पदार्थों के अनुगत है और असत पदार्थों से पृथक है, जड़ नहीं चेतन है, परतंत्र नहीं स्वयं प्रकाश है, जो ब्रह्मा अथवा हिरण्यगर्भ नहीं, प्रत्युत उन्हें अपने संकल्प से ही जिसने उस वेद ज्ञान का दान किया है, जिसके संबंध में बड़े बड़े विद्वान भी मोहित हो जाते हैं, जैसे तेजोमय सूर्य रश्मियों में जलकर जल में स्थल का और स्थल में जल का भ्रम होता है, वैसे ही जिसमें यह त्रिगुणमयी जगत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति रूप सृष्टि मिथ्या होने पर भी अधिष्ठान सत्ता से सत्यवत प्रतीत हो रही है, उस अपनी स्वयं प्रकाश ज्योति से सर्वदा और सर्वथा माया और मायाकार से पूर्णतः मुक्त रहने वाले परम, जस्ट इफ यू कैन स्क्रॉल अ बिट।
जी, परम सत्य रूप परमात्मा का हम ध्यान करते हैं.
हम
Let the
ध्यान
meaning
करते
of the
हैं,
next. Yeah.
correct. So this is the first Mangalacharan, in which the supreme entity is called the absolute truth. So this is a very beautiful thing to recall, that the supreme entity is not being referred as Shiv or Ganesh or God or any other name. It is being referred as absolute truth. That makes Bhagavad acceptable and accessible to all. That no one can say that Bhagavad is talking about Sri Krishna or Sri Ganesh. That supreme entity is called the absolute truth. And these are such profound shlokas. One full session is required to go through them. So let us quickly go to the next slide. धर्मः प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्त्वमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयो उन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा पररीश्वरः सद्यो हृदयवरुध्यते अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रुभिस्तक्षणात्। महामुनि व्यासदेव के द्वारा निर्मित इस श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण में मोक्ष पर्यंत फल की कामना से रहित परम धर्म का निरूपण हुआ है। इसमें शुद्धांतःकरण सत्पुरुषों के जानने योग्य उस वास्तविक वस्तु परमात्मा का निरूपण हुआ है, जो तीनों तापों को जड़ से नाश करने वाली और परम कल्याण देने वाली है। अब और किसी साधन या शास्त्र से क्या प्रयोजन? जिस समय भी सुकृति पुरुष इसके श्रवण की इच्छा करते हैं, ईश्वर उसी समय अविलंब उनके हृदय में आकर बंदी बन जाता है। How beautiful. So this Bhagavad Mahapuran is not talking about dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all those material pursuits. No, it is talking about the highest dharma, which alone can satiate the soul fully. And it takes away all the three miseries, types of miseries which the souls are going through: janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, disease, old age, fear, frustration, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मद, मोह, etc. And the moment someone, a devotee wants to hear Bhagavad Katha, the devotee, that is the importance of Bhagavad Mahapuran. And the last shloka of this series, Nigamakalp, Nigamakalpa कल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्हो रसिका भुवि भावुका. So in the first slok, who is the absolute truth is described. In the second shlok, what is the content of Bhagavad Mahapuran is described. And the last shlok, how relishable Bhagavad is described. Oh, the devotees who are wanting to consume the nectarian rasa of the Bhagavad, please understand that this Bhagavad Mahapuran is like the ripened fruit which has grown on the Kalpa Vriksh, the desired tree of the Vedas. Of the Vedas in the form of the Kalpa Vriksh, if so to say, this is the ripened fruit, which has been tested by the Shukdev ji in the form of the parrot. and that is why it has become the most blissful. So what is said is, if you go into an orchard and if you see a fruit, let's say a mango, which is tested by a parrot, that fruit is the highest, because a parrot has the ability to pick up the best and the most ripened and the ideal. So that is how it is described. And then it is saying that in this fruit there is no kernel, seed, there is no skin, the chilka, there is no resha, the fiber. And this is the bliss personified. So long as we have the life in our body, we should continuously consume this nectarian rasa, and this is available only on this Prithvi Lok, is what it says. Radhe Radhe. So we are almost there at the end. So over to Yatinji for the rest of the proceedings.
जी भैया. Okay. Uh, so, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of knowledge, uh, good gyan in each of the slide, in each of the line, what we read today. And some of the things, as you said, also we have read before also in earlier chapters. Uh, for example, the different categories of devotees and what types of different types of devotion are there. And I have one question in this one about the different categories of devotion, bhav, as you said. So it starts from Shant Bhav and then Dasya Bhav and then it goes up to Madhurya Bhav at the top. So is it like that devotee starts from below and then go up to the top, or is it like one just enters in, I mean, due to his own uh, sanskar or something, that he belongs in some particular level and then he will remain in that level until the end. So what, like, how's it meant to be?
Yeah, so very profound question. We can relate ourselves, because sometimes I have felt that I am a servant of the Lord. Sometimes I have felt the Lord is my parents. Sometimes I have felt the Lord is my friend. Sometimes we can have the feelings of the lover and beloved. So earlier, when we did not know this, we were confused. At least I can say in my case, so I don't think there is any such mandatory situation. I would assume that it would depend on the previous life also. If we were a devotee in Madhurya Bhav, we were practicing, but we had not reached the goal. So it is very much possible that in this life we continue the journey. So we are already in the Madhurya Bhav. Whereas somebody started to relate to the Lord in the Shanta Bhav, which is to see the majesty and the opulence of the Lord, and slowly his progress has taken place. So there can be different situations. Very important question. We can debate and discuss more. Not very straightforward to resolve. But Maharaji says, doesn't matter. You love God in Madhurya Bhav. So if we are in love with God, that He is the husband of my soul, He is the beloved of my soul, supreme beloved, then we are in the conjugal love. That Madhurya Bhav, the relationship between a lover and beloved. And that relationship is so amazing that all other relationships are contained in it. Like sometimes the wife can speak like a parent. She can tell her husband, "You are not eating properly these days, you have become lean." So she is talking in the role of a mother. Sometimes she can become a friend. The husband is in financial difficulties. She says, "My brother is a chartered accountant, and this is what he did in this situation." So she's behaving like a friend. Sometimes she can behave like a servitor, servant. Husband is having a headache, and she is massaging his head. So, and sometimes she is in awe of the husband. The husband is IAS officer of great repute. So when she looks at him in his official attire, she has that kind of a sentiment. So all the lower sentiments are contained in the higher sentiment. So if you are in the Madhurya Bhav, you can experience all the different, you can keep changing. But if you are in the lower Bhav, we cannot go on to the top. Radhe Radhe.
जी भैया जी 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 yeah, great explanation, thank you very much. And also the bhajan was quite unique today, so I enjoyed it. Yes, yes. It was a great session overall. Thank you for that. And Hema Didi, Smita Didi, would you like to say something?
The fluctuating valves, if one has reached the top but then starts stumbling, is that good or bad?
It is not stumbling, no. Like I said, when there is a wife and husband, it is not a stumbling. It is the beauty of the relationship. You can become a friend, you can become a parent, you can become, it is all in the, so that is why in Madhurya Bhav there is no rule. So it is not bad at all as far as I understand. This is the rasa that the Madhurya Bhav permits such a large canvas of emotion. So highest love is that. But as I said, it's a very
Mm.
profound subject, so we can
It
keep
is. It
exploring.
is because in the world we experience different circumstances with our family, with our partner, with our siblings, and then sometimes the valves do. It does affect the bow when it comes to your devotional practice. That's where the fluctuation could happen, but ideally one should be just progressing from the lower to the higher without taking a couple of steps back down the ladder.
No, what I meant was that we are talking about our relationship with God.
God, right?
In worldly relationship, let's
Her.
say you love your sister a lot. So obviously, that's in the sibling love, or you want to solve her, so she is in trouble, you want to go and
Mm, mm,
so it's a different situation.
okay.
But there you cannot have that Madhurya Bhav situation, right?
Ah,
But we are
right.
talking about the our devotion. Devotion is what? Devotion is love.
The
So
love.
how do we love Sri Krishna? So for a woman, it is so easy to relate to Sri Krishna, that this man, Sri Krishna, let me think of him as my beloved, my lover, my husband. Actually, husband becomes even not as high as the lover or the beloved. So we are talking about how to enhance our love with Sri Krishna. So the recommendation from Sri Maharaji is love Sri Krishna in the Madhurya Bhav.
Madhuri.
So in that bhav, you can come down to the lower role, because Sri Krishna is everything. Twameva mata cha pita twameva, twameva bandhu sa jaka twameva, twameva vidya cha dravinam twameva sarvam mam deva. Sarvam mam deva deva. He is giving
Mhm.
you the liberty to consider him as a husband, consider him as a friend, consider him as a parent or a child. He is delighted when we have a multitude of relationship. That is what I understood. And Sri Maharaji said,
Okay.
you are tired of thinking of Sri Krishna as a friend. Now I want to take Sri Krishna as a child. So make him the child. And next
Child.
moment you
Okay.
want to change. So you keep changing. And this interaction is going on, and the canvas becomes so beautiful. And if Sri Krishna sees that sincere attempt in the devotee to come out of the worldly attachments and relate to Sri Krishna, you become God realized. Then everything is blissful, and there is no yearning for the material anymore.
Child.
Radhe Radhe.
So, Radhe Radhe, thank you. She's like Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and then the Madhurya. All right.
Madhurya.
I
Yeah.
need to
Shant
refresh on
Bhav,
this. Shant.
Shant Bhav, Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav,
Bhav,
Vatsalya Bhav and then Madhurya Bhav.
Madhurya
So
Bhav.
next session we'll talk about Raganuga Bhakti and Kamanuga Bhakti. These are the two. And in Raganuga Bhakti, which is what we are recommended to practice, there is the two different types which I will learn and share with you all. Radhe Radhe.
Okay, Radhe Radhe, thank you.
Radhe. Yeah.
Smita Devi.
Refresh on.
राधे राधे भैया। वस्तुतः ये बहुत ही शानदार सेशन था। इतना अच्छा लगा जो आपने डिफरेंट तरह की भक्ति के बारे में और प्रेम के बारे में, लव को डिफाइन किया आपने। और प्रभु हमारे जो है वो परम सत्य है और उनका प्रेम ही एकमात्र चीज है जो शाश्वत है और जो परम शक्तिमान है। और जो अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि माधुर्य भाव माधुर्य भाव में ही होना सबसे अच्छी बात है या उसके निम्न भाव में जाना, ऊपर से नीचे जाना, ये सब बातें अलग है। कंपैरिजन करने की कोई मुझे नहीं लगता उतनी ज़रूरत है। जब आप किसी के साथ प्रेम में हो तो आप उसको हर रूप में प्रेम देते हो। कभी जैसा भैया ने भी बताया, माँ बन के, कभी पत्नी बन के, कभी उसको एक बालक की तरह भी ट्रीट करते हो। और मतलब वो शाश्वत प्रेम ही है और उसको हम डिफाइन इस तरह करें और कंपैरिजन करें कोई जरूरत नहीं है। सिर्फ कृष्ण को प्रेम करें। और होता क्या है जो मैंने महाराज जी में ही देखा है, महाराज जी जब कोई बाल लीला वाले भक्ति के गीत या भजन होते हैं तो वो बिल्कुल एक पिता की तरह भावना से भरकर कृष्ण को पुकारते हैं। और जब वो राधा जी को स्मरण करते हैं तो एक प्रेमी का भाव उनके चेहरे पे, वो चमक, वो क्या कहते हैं, नटखट वाला, वो मतलब सौम्यतापूर्ण जो एक होता है ना, वो उद्गार प्रेम वाले उनके चेहरे और आंखों में झलकती है। तो वो इस तरह है जैसे पानी को आप जिधर डालो, जिस ये में डालो, वो उसका रूप ले लेता है। तो वही बात है, भक्त का जो हृदय है वो जिस तरह की भावना में जिस समय डूबता है वो वैसा वाला प्रेम स्वतः शांत सुखाय शुरू हो जाता है। तो जस्ट यही कहना था भैया। बहुत बहुत प्यारा सेशन। राधे राधे। और आप गोपी गीत पे आपने मैंने आपका सुना, बहुत अच्छा लगा। मैं चाहती हूँ आप उसमें और भी ज्यादा कुछ एडअप करके अपने शब्दों में, अपने स्वरों में उसको गाएं और हमें सुनाएं। राधे राधे। जय श्री राम।
Jai Shri Ram, thank you so much. Actually, I was planning to discuss with Yatin ji for 2 minutes after the session on the Gopi Geet, so I'll do that, and that's the wonderful suggestion that is there in my mind also. Like we do Radha Govind Geet, we do those 19 shlokas of Gopi Geet, one separate video. That will be very beautiful. Thank you so much. With that, let us conclude. बोलिए श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार
Satguru
की जय,
Sarkar ki
श्रीमद
भैया
युगल सरकार की जय,
jai.
सॉरी,
जय जय श्री
Jai Shri
राधे,
Radhe.
जय
Jai
जय
Jai
श्री
Shri
राधे,
Radhe. Jai
सियावर
Jai
रामचंद्र की
Ramachandra
जय,
ki
जय
jai.
जय
Jai Jai
श्री
Shri
राधे.
Radhe.
Yes,
So
yes, Smita ji.
भैया आज हमारे राम लला का बर्थडे है। आप एक बार अपने अपने मुख से वो वाला भजन रामायण का गाइए ना, जिसमें उनके जन्म के बारे में है, नौमी तिथि वाला, प्लीज।
yes, please.
Ji, very quickly, and then we will conclude. So it is the background. नौमी तिथि मधुमास पुनीता, शुक्ल पक्ष अभिजित हरि प्रीता, मध्य दिवस अति शीत न घामा, पावन काल लोक विश्रामा। नौमी तिथि मधुमास पुनीता, शुक्ल पक्ष अभिजित हरि प्रीता। मध्य दिवस अति शीत न घामा, पावन काल लोक विश्रामा। शीतल मंद सुरभि, शीतल मंद सुरभि बहबाऊ, हर्षित सुर संकल्प संतन मन भाऊ। मन चाऊ वन कुसुमित गिरि गण परियारा, स्रवहि सकल सरितामृत धारा। मंगल भवन अमंगल हारी, द्रवहु सो दशरथ अजिर बिहारी। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
जय।
जय श्री राम। राधे राधे।
राधे राधे। जय श्री राम।
जय
राधे
श्री
राधे।
राम। राधे राधे। थैंक यू भैया।
राधे राधे।